Hey, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today's gonna be somewhat of a subscriber suggestion since it's not a part of a regular Taylor Swift album. Today we're gonna be listening to Renegade by Big Red Machine, which features Taylor Swift, but everyone kind of tells me that it's basically a third Evermore deluxe tracks. So that's kind of why I'm grouping this together with the Evermore series. So let's just get straight into it.
Tapped on your window on your darkest night. The shape of you was jagged and weak. There was nowhere for me to stay, but I stayed anyway. And if I would've known how many pieces you had crumbled into, I might've let them lay. Are you really gonna talk about timing in times like these? And let all your damage me and carry your baggage up my street? History, it's time. You've come a long way. Open the blinds, let me see your face. You wouldn't be the first renegade to need somebody.
Okay, so there was the infamous Justin Vernon, so it must be featuring him as well. It didn't mention that in the title of the song, but maybe he's a part of the band that's Big Red Machine. I'm not exactly sure about that side of it. So far, this one's really cool and upbeat. I actually am really enjoying it so far. I have no idea what the lyrics said because this lyric video is very hard to read, so let's go back and read that. The first verse and chorus says, "I tapped on your window on your darkest nights. The shape of you was jagged and weak. There was nowhere for me to stay, but I stayed anyway. And if I would have known how many pieces you would have crumbled into, I might have just let them lay. Are you really going to talk about timings and times like these? Let all your damage me. Carry your baggage up my street and make me your future history. It's time. You've come a long way. Open the blinds. Let me see your face. You wouldn't be the first renegade who needs somebody." This might be watering it down very much, but my overall thoughts between that chorus and verse is that this person is kind of a loner and is clearly going through a rough time, and Taylor Swift, or the protagonist of the song, is just trying to convince this person to like open up and be willing to accept the help that people are there for them. Because renegade to me is someone that's like on their own. They're always going on another adventure or just kind of going through life without anyone else besides themselves. And you wouldn't be the first renegade to need somebody is like, I know you're programmed to think that you can't ask for help, but you have a community kind of behind you. That's kind of like overall what I got out of that, but we might just have to keep listening to see.
Is it insensitive for me to say, get your shit together so I can love you? Is it really your anxiety that stops you from giving me everything? Or do you just not want to?
Ooh, okay, that was actually interesting. It says, is it insensitive for me to say to get your shit together so I can love you? Is it really your anxiety that stops you from giving me everything, or do you just not want to? I also don't want to come off insensitive either, but I feel like what she's trying to say is, as great as it is that we have people talking about mental health and getting that addressed, because that has been not addressed for so long and it's such a prevalent problem with most people or just in general in society. So she's kind of saying like, while I know you're kind of going through some mental health issues or you just have a lot going on in your life, and she's kind of asking like, are you blaming everything on your maybe mental illness, or are you just not willing to want to do that? People might use that as a safeguard to maybe avoid conflict or something like that, and just kind of chuck it up to, I couldn't do this because of this is my situation. So I feel like that's kind of an interesting way of just asking this person, do you actually like me, or are you just like, or are you just kind of like stringing me along with what you can get away with, kind of. But I still really like the way she put that. Hey, some editing thoughts. I feel like I kind of explained myself a little bit here, but I just wanted to end that conversation by saying that by no means am I saying that anyone that has mental health issues or struggles in their life are using that as an excuse to get by. That is not at all what I meant, and I don't know if it came off like that, but I just kind of wanted to preface this and just say that that's not my intentions there. It was more just saying in the context of the song, she's wondering if that person is actually struggling this badly, or do they just not want to be with her and kind of don't want to let her down gently. So I hope that was kind of clear, but if it wasn't, I wanted to just kind of clear up that was not me trying to generalize anyone that has any type of mental health issues. So Let's just get back to the regular video though.
I tapped on your window on your darkest night. The shape of you was jagged and weak. There was nowhere for me to stay, but I stayed anyway. You fire off missiles cause you hate yourself, but do you know you're demolishing me? And then you squeeze my hand as I'm about to leave. Are you really gonna talk about timing in times like these? Let all your damage me, and carry your baggage up my street, and make me your future history. It's time, you've come a long way. Open the blinds, let me see your face. You wouldn't be the first renegade to need somebody.
Okay, let me read that second verse because there was also something I kind of wanted to talk about as well. It says, I tapped on your window on your darkest night. The shape of you was jagged and weak. There was nowhere for me to stay, but I stayed anyway. You fire off missiles because you hate yourself, but do you know that you're demolishing me? And then you squeeze my hand as I'm about to leave. So I feel like that kind of circles back to maybe the mental health struggles that this person's going through. And she's kind of saying that the harm that they're doing to themselves is hurting her because all she wants to do is love this person, but this person is just in such a bad place that it kind of like physically hurts her to see this person hurt themselves. And then I also feel like the person that is maybe going through those struggles is acknowledging it a little bit, because then you say you squeeze my hand as I'm about to leave. I feel like a squeeze of a hand, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's kind of like some sort of reassurance. Not necessarily like a I love you, but it's kind of more like, you know, like thank you. I kind of think of that. It's like when you get those little pats on the back or just something like that, you just know that that person is thankful that you're kind of around. So I do feel like maybe this person does see that they are damaging the other person by not being very nice to themselves. But it's just insane to me that Taylor Swift writes a song about depression and mental health struggles, but yet I'm tapping my foot and I kind of feel bad about it, but it's a really good song.
Is it insensitive for me to say, get your shit together so I can love you? Is it really your anxiety that stops you from giving me everything? Or do you just not want to? If I would've known.
I don't think I noticed the timing of the song, that it has like more than a minute left, so I kind of thought it was over, but I think it's starting again.
How sharp the pieces were you'd crumbled into. I might have let them lay. Are you really gonna talk about timing in times like these? Let all your damage me, and carry your baggage up my street, and make me your future history. It's time, you've come a long way. Open the blinds, let me see your face. You wouldn't be the first renegade to need somebody.
So I'm not sure if you guys are going to know the answer to this, but when she says, are you really going to talk about timings and times like this? I wonder if she's just generally saying like there's no time like the present, like why wait when you know something's right? But then I'm also kind of thinking like, did this maybe have something to do with like pandemic? Because I know Evermore and Folklore are all kind of like pandemic pieces of work. And this came out in 2021, which is still a pretty prevalent time for COVID-19. So I wonder if it's a combination of just in general saying like there's no time like the present, but it's also like, how are you going to talk about the timing's not right when we're in a global pandemic? Is there going to be another time to do this? Like, we don't ever know. We don't really know what's going on in our current state of the world. So it's kind of like, this is another excuse that you're maybe giving me when really isn't that valid. But maybe I'm kind of reading too much into that one. so that was the end of Renegade. I know they came out in two very different time periods, so I know they're probably not connected, but this reminds me a lot of Forever Winter. It's almost like this is like the prequel to Forever Winter, because unfortunately, if you've listened to Forever Winter, I have on this channel, Forever Winter is almost like it's kind of too late because the person may have passed on, or just something in that situation, it was almost too late and she's just wishing this person would have stayed around. And this one's almost like begging this person that is going through a tough time to not let it get to that point. So I feel like these are two very important songs when it comes to like mental health struggles or just things like that in general. But I thoroughly enjoyed this song. I don't know how it did on like chart wise, but I think it was pretty cool how Taylor was able to kind of assist in this song for this band rather than having it on Evermore. But I definitely think this style of music suits Taylor Swift a lot, so I really, really enjoyed this. But tell me what you thought of the song. Tell me if you have any perspective on it. I'd really appreciate it. But if not, I will see you guys in the next video.